Hello, welcome to the Film Pulse podcast. This is episode number 207. My name's Adam Patterson. Joining me today, as always, got Kevin Rakestraw. How you doing there, Kevin?
Doing pretty good. You sound like a game show host.
Yeah, I'm working on my voice, my radio voice.
Uh-oh.
I'm working on it. Because I'm naturally pretty monotone, so I'm trying to have a wider range.
Trying to sprinkle in some flavor.
Yeah.
Mix it up a little bit.
Mix it up a little bit. Yeah.
All right.
This week on the show, we'll be talking about the newly remastered Andrzej Zulawski's 1981 classic Possession, along with some other stuff we've been watching on the watch list, movie predictions, new on video on demand, and Blu-ray releases. Believe it or not, that was the best take that we have of that. I was really struggling getting through that, and I will be sure to put the outtakes at the end. First up, let's talk about some news. Got some news items here. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg to produce a Where's Waldo movie.
What? Who? What?
Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg
to
produce a Where's Waldo movie.
Why?
That's a good question.
Why?
Excellent.
How do you make that? I don't understand. How do you make that a movie?
I'm wondering if they'll put just lots of wide shots, and he's in India at a bazaar in India, and it just stays on a wide shot for 10 minutes, and then you hear a voiceover go, "Find Waldo now," and there's a little timer,
and then
you just sit in the theater and try to spot him,
and then the final 5 seconds is the camera just slowly pulls in on him, and whoever's playing Waldo just looks up and says, "Here I am."
You found me. Oh, I don't know.
That's the dumbest thing.
Yeah,
that's one of the dumbest things.
I'm not entirely sure that that's gonna work, guys. I'll be interested to see where that goes.
It's just who's been asking for this? Do people are kids still into Where's Waldo?
I don't think so.
I have nephews and stuff, and none of them have read Where's Waldo.
I mean, clearly, it seems like it'll be a movie for us. It'd be funny if they made it R-rated. An R-rated Where's... Find Waldo at the orgy.
Oh, Jesus.
Find Waldo, Burning Man.
There you go.
I like that idea.
I'm just interested right now to know, what is the plot of Where's Waldo? I take it
I imagine
when they'll lose Waldo, and they're going to be like, "Where's Waldo?" And then
I imagine that there's going to be a lot of globe trotting. It seems like a travel type movie where it's a guy who's having a midlife crisis, and he just travels the world to try to find himself. You know what I mean? Where's Waldo? Where is Waldo?
He attempts to redefine himself. He gets himself a new outfit, and he goes for stripes this time around because he's been adverse to stripes. But now he's into stripes, and he's going to start traveling the world. But as soon as he travels, and he goes without a cell phone or anything because he wants to detach from the world. And as soon as he leaves, his mom dies, and then they got to try and find him so they can bring him back in time for his mother's funeral.
That's a good idea.
See right there, Where's Waldo? I'll write that shit.
Either that, or he just leaves his family and goes on a vision quest.
It has to be some sort of vision quest.
I think so, yeah. Tribeca announces their final slate of programs. This includes the Centerpiece, Spotlight, Midnight, and Works in Progress sections. So we got lots and lots of stuff announced for Tribeca, including Mike Birbiglia's latest comedy, Don't Think Twice. I'm interested in that. We got Tom Tykwer's A Hologram for the King.
All right.
That's the new Tom Hanks one, which I'll be mentioning when we talk about trailers, because the trailer came out for that. And Taika Waititi's Hunt for the Wilder People is going to be there.
Okay.
So I'll definitely be checking that out. So have you had a chance to look at any of these Tribeca? The new Tribeca ones?
I don't think I have. I didn't know they announced new Tribecas. I thought they were done with all of the things that are playing at Tribeca.
No, I just realized in the news document that we share, I put in the wrong link. I put in the link for the previously announced. They announced the competition stuff.
Yeah, is it just me, or it seems like Film Festival the announcing of the films lasts longer than the actual film festival itself.
Well, with Tribeca, it was just two announcements. With some of the other ones, it's like four. It's like four announcements. I think Fantastic Fest does that, where it's like comes in four waves, or maybe it's South by Southwest, where it's you can't announce them all at once because it's just information overload.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I totally understand why they space it out. Plus, I think that a lot of times these movies they're getting in just under the wire. Like some of them aren't even quite done yet by the time they make it to the festival. So they're finishing up putting the final touches on these programs all the way up until when they're announced. So I kind of get it. I think coming out with two sets is fine because it's still a ton. It's still a ton to go through, but it's not completely overwhelming.
Yeah.
There's a new Banksy documentary that's going to be premiering there called The Banksy Job.
Okay. All right.
From reading the synopsis, it sounds like it's just going to be kind of like what was the Exit Through the Gift Shop? It seems like it's going to be similar to that.
Okay. All right.
So I don't know. I might check that out. I'm always interested in the whole Banksy thing. Let's see. I'm just kind of going through this. There's a new documentary about John DuPont called Team Foxcatcher. Not sure that was needed.
No thank
because
you.
We had the movie, and then there was another documentary, I think called, I can't remember what the name of that one was called, but to me that documentary pretty much wrapped everything up.
Yeah.
That documentary's on Netflix.
You got this movie Elvis and Nixon.
Oh yeah, the one with
Michael Shannon plays Elvis.
Yeah, there's a trailer for that out. It looks kind of interesting. I don't know what to think about that one.
All right.
No idea how I feel.
It doesn't sound interesting to me outside of Michael Shannon being Elvis Presley.
There's a new Louis Theroux documentary called My Scientology Movie, and I'm very interested in that because I'm a big fan of all the Louis Theroux documentaries. I think he's awesome, and so I'm really, really looking forward to him tackling Scientology. Have you ever seen any of the Louis Theroux documentaries?
Nope.
You should check him out. You'll like him. He was the guy that spent a lot of time with the St. Burrow Baptist. Is it St. Burrow Baptist Church? The God Hates Fags Church.
Yeah, I forget what their name is.
Westboro Baptist Church. That's it. He did like two documentaries on them, and he spent a lot of time with them. And he makes really interesting stuff for BBC. He's a British documentarian.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend checking out pretty much all of his stuff because it's really, really cool. Let's see. You can check out the full list on the site. There's just tons.
So many movies.
Yeah, obviously I'm more interested in pretty much all of the midnight stuff. I usually see all of the midnight stuff. Justin Kelly has a new one called King Cobra.
Christian Slater.
Mm-hmm.
James Franco, Alicia Silverstone, Molly Ringwald.
Yeah, could be interesting.
Huh.
Adam Goldberg has a new one called Rebirth.
Yeah.
Fran Kranz. Netflix is releasing that, so it'll probably be out.
You could just wait on that one.
Yeah, there's a couple other ones that already got announced that are going to be out on Netflix, like within a couple weeks of premiering on there. Bill Nye documentary.
Okay.
It's interesting. And then there's also a Ghostbusters documentary who I actually know the director of this documentary. It's we backed this on, or I backed this on Kickstarter, I think, maybe. Or we at least promoted it on Kickstarter. I can't remember if I personally backed it, but I've been in touch with these guys, and they're definitely fanboys, and I think that this will turn out okay, so I'll be checking it out. So that's Tribeca. I will be going there this year, so we'll have lots of stuff, coverage of that in the coming weeks. I think that it starts April 13th, I want to say, somewhere around there. This just came out, I think it was like today or yesterday, this news dropped, where Paramount has pulled The Little Prince from theaters a week before its release.
But why?
This was supposed to hit theaters next Friday.
Yeah, what's up with that?
And they inexplicably pulled it.
They didn't provide any reason?
Nope. Not yet, at least. No statement.
Delayed.
And I gotta say, I saw this movie, and it's great. I don't understand.
Oh, you already saw it?
Yes.
Oh, that's right, you did see this.
And it's great. It's got a great voice cast. It's got Jeff Bridges, Rachel McAdams, Paul Rudd, Marion Cotillard, Benicio del Toro, James Franco, Ricky Gervais, Paul Giamatti. So it's got an all-star cast. The animation is incredible. It's this great mix of CG and this kind of stop-motion, like, hand-drawn mixed with models, and it's great.
Yeah.
Really clever. It's a really interesting way to adapt this very famous book. And it's like, I don't understand why they're
But it looks like they're not the distributor anymore.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I guess
They essentially dropped the movie.
Why would you drop it?
Now, this is just U.S. It's just U.S., so it is still opening in Canada.
I can't.
So if you live in Canada, you can still go see it.
No.
But this is just, it was dropped from U.S. theaters. What? It sucks, because it's the kind of movie that you want to see in a theater environment, because it's a very visual movie. But whatever. Dicks. Got some viewer mail this week.
What?
This first one comes from Jacob. This was in regards to our review of the Invitation. So this is he emailed this to us. I'm gonna just read the whole thing. It's a little long, but it kind of I was gonna abridge it, but then I decided to just read the whole thing because it puts it into context and how he feels about this movie. So I'll just read this verbatim. So he says, "Hey guys, I know it's been a little while since this episode, but I recently just caught up with it. I figured I'm probably one of the only listeners that's actually seen The Invitation and just wanted to throw in my 2 cents. I'll start off by saying it's been nearly a year since I've seen it. I was able to catch one of its first showings last April at the Stanley Film Festival in Colorado. Great film festival, by the way. Highly recommend checking that out. Karen Kusama was in attendance with a Q&A afterwards, which was pretty neat. So with that pretext, I didn't like the film at all. I remember being extremely disappointed and borderline upset after it was over. Part of that was the film itself, and another part has to do with the unfair comparisons my brain made. When I first saw The Invitation nearly 11 months ago, I was fresh off seeing Coherence. Now I follow both of you guys on Letterboxd, and I noticed that you've both seen that film. Coherence was one in my top 5 films of 2014. I love that film. I've seen it close to 10 times and have seen a screening with the director. So when I saw The Invitation, I couldn't help but draw parallels. And I think, actually, we drew parallels in our review, too. I mentioned that it was
I think you did.
Yeah. I know that they aren't the same film, but they start off with the same premise. A group of adults and couples all meet up together at one house for a dinner party / get-together. As soon as I saw that happening, I thought to myself, oh, cool, it's like Coherence, and was waiting for it to venture into similar, strange, mysterious territories. I didn't get that. Had I not seen Coherence before seeing The Invitation, maybe I would have liked it more. I hate that my brain automatically paired the two films together because the amount of which I liked Coherence, The Invitation didn't stand a chance. But it wasn't just a comparison that made me dislike the film. The one thing I distinctly remember hating, and the only thing I commented on in my Letterboxd review, was that the dialogue was atrocious. Like, absolutely cringeworthy. Just the most unrealistic, nonsensical bullshit that real people in that situation would never say in a million years, and it completely threw me out of the film and left a bad taste in my mouth that wouldn't go away. I don't really remember much of the film, although I do remember liking bits and pieces. The events and twists that unfold were entertaining, but to see those things, you have to struggle through the horrendous dialogue. So am I being too harsh on the film? Is the dialogue as terrible as I remember it? Am I getting too hung up on one negative aspect of the film? Is it unfair to compare it to one of my favorite films in recent years? Hearing you guys talk highly about the film makes me want to revisit it, though. I might have to pick it up on Blu-ray when it comes out, because maybe just enough time has passed and I can fairly judge it. Thanks a lot, Jacob. P.S. I love The Witch.
I did not love The Witch, Jacob. Sorry.
So what do you think about the dialogue? I don't remember if we talked about the dialogue in The Invitation.
I thought the dialogue was alright in The Invitation.
I thought it was fine. See,
I didn't think it was nothing that pulled me out of the film
right.
itself, but nothing that was really like, damn, this is so well written.
I think that more so the acting is not great in The Invitation. The acting is a little, like, performance wise, is some of it's good, some of it's not great.
Yeah, it's all over the spectrum there.
So I think that a lot of times when you look at poor performances, you can attribute that to poor dialogue. So I think maybe there needs to be a distinction made between bad dialogue and bad performances, because sometimes they're synonymous. Like, sometimes you don't really know if it's just shitty dialogue or shitty performance.
Yeah, because line delivery has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, that being said, that the way that you and I watch movies is very similar in that you and I don't put a lot of stake in performances. Like, there can be a movie that has pretty bad acting in it, and I'll still like the movie.
Yeah, just as long as it doesn't completely derail everything else that's going on.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely, if you go back in the 200 plus episodes, there have been many times where I've pointed out bad acting.
It's usually kids. It's usually kids.
With me, yes, it's usually children.
Yeah,
I do not give them a pass. I do not give them a pass. Comparing it to Coherence, though, I think that that's absolutely valid, even though the movies themselves are quite different. I got a Coherence vibe from it too, and I will agree that I think Coherence is superior, but
I don't think it's fair to.
Right. I didn't directly compare them, and I didn't knock points off of The Invitation because it's not as good as Coherence.
No, because they're completely different.
Yeah.
Outside of the setup.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, visually, yeah, they're similar because they're both kind of contained in this one house, and it's a get together. So I think it's valid criticism, though. Thanks for writing in, Jacob. And I'd still recommend I think you should rewatch it and see if you like it any better on a rewatch. My guess is going to be no, though, because now you know the twist. So you're going to be even more hung up on the dialogue.
Because you're not going to. Yeah, because you don't have the distraction of
trying to figure out what's going on, wondering what's going on.
You already know that, so you're going to be focused even more on the dialogue.
The other comment that I wanted to read this week is from Susan. This was on a review that we did for Dances with Films 2015. We reviewed a movie called Hello, My Name is Frank. Now, I did not see this movie, and I don't think you saw it either.
No.
It wasn't. Neither of us wrote this review. I think it was Ernie that wrote the review. But this comment is it's not really about the review itself. It's about the movie. So she says, "Hi, I would like to point out that people with Tourette's." Now, I should mention that the main character in this movie, I believe, has Tourette's syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's kind of a comedy, maybe poking fun at Tourette's, but I'm not sure. Again, I haven't seen it. I would like to point out that people with Tourette's are not developmentally disabled, that Tourette's does not affect intelligence or IQ. Most people with Tourette's have above average IQ. I hate the fact that this movie misleads people into thinking that people with TS are affected mentally. The character obviously has more going on than TS. Wish the filmmaker had pointed out the fact that he has multi-disorders. So if only a small portion of the Tourette community have coprolalia, why is it all filmmakers use it in their films? Why not depict the 90%? Not as much shock value. It's because of films like this that almost every person I tell that my daughter has Tourette syndrome, they come back with, "Oh, that's the cursing disorder." And I just wanted to read this out because that is something that I noticed in films, and it's not necessarily just Tourette's either, but you could look at any other like disorders that have kind of a quirky characteristic about them, but especially with Tourette's.
Yeah, they always kind of focus in on
the swearing thing. Because, like she points out here, most people that have Tourette's, that they don't do the swearing thing. Like, that's just one like subset, like one side effect or characteristic of the disease. Now, admittedly, I don't know a whole lot about Tourette syndrome, but
I know there's a person that works like close to where my wife works, like across the street or whatever, and he actually has the ability to like kind of bottle it up
yeah, I
for
think
most of the day, and then what he does is he'll go outside and he walks up and down the street and just lets it all out, like at lunch.
interesting. Yeah,
But they never. That's never depicted in movies. It's just swearing and saying dirty stuff.
and I think she brings up a valid point that when you see that in movies and TV, I think that in this day and age, I think it is inappropriate to only portray that. And she also points out that the character had more going on than just Tourette's, which they didn't. I guess they didn't address it in the movie, that he had multiple problems. So
Gotcha.
yeah, I think that they need to not alienate people that have Tourette's, because it is kind of disrespectful, I guess.
Yeah.
But haven't seen the movie, so can't speak to the movie itself.
Honestly, it's just lazy comedy.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's how that movie is, but yeah, if it's a whole movie about him just randomly swearing,
Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
Done
Like
for laughs.
anytime you see someone with Tourette's in a film, that's usually what it is. Like,
yeah,
it's an inopportune time. He says some filthy or swears.
Yeah, I mean it is lazy. It's definitely lazy. So thank you, Susan, for that comment. Trailers this week. We got the big one was Captain America: Civil War. Got a new trailer.
I was wondering why, because people don't know this, but Adam shot me a text like 10 minutes before recording, and he's like, "Hey, watch the Captain America thing because I want to talk about it." So I start watching it, and I'm almost to the end, and I'm like, "Why the hell are we talking about this? Like, this is just another bland trailer. It's a lot like the other Captain America trailer I saw." And then I'm guessing it's the end. What happens at the end? I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's not a big spoiler or anything, but Spider-Man was actually shown in the trailer, and a lot of people are talking about it this week. And I got a little amped up. I got a little amped up when I saw Spider-Man, because fanboys such as myself have been waiting for Spider-Man to enter the Marvel Cinematic Universe for a long time now. And as a fan of the character, it always pained me to see him withering away over at Sony, and now to see him be in the new Captain America, I was pretty excited. Not a big fan of the CG, because it looks like that was pretty much all CG.
Yeah, it didn't look that good.
And so I wasn't a big fan of that. I like the look of the costume in general. However, when you watch it, like, his eyes kind of squint, like in the mask. I don't know if you've noticed that, but like, you know how Spider-Man, he has the red mask and then the eyes are white and then they have like a black outline.
Yeah.
They squinted, like they got smaller. And that kind of bothered me, because it's like, he's wearing a mask. Why would the eyes squint? The eyes wouldn't squint. They'd just stay the same because it's a fucking mask.
He's got some sort of new mask technology, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, it looked cool, but it still bothered me. I think the costume, the design itself looks cool. It looks pretty simple, and I like that.
I just don't like the idea of having like a 14-year-old play him.
Yeah, I mean,
he's like, "Hey guys."
Yeah, like, they're definitely going back, and they're starting from the beginning with him. It makes sense though, because if he'd been around for a while, where was he? You know, during all of the other Marvel stuff, like where was he at? And I get that with the new standalone Spider-Man movie, it's gonna be him in high school again, I guess. Which, man, talk about muddying the waters. They rebooted Spider-Man once already in less than a decade. Now they're gonna do it again.
That's what I mean.
And it's like 4 years later.
That's the thing. Like, I like Spider-Man. I mean, I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan, but holy shit, it's Spider-Man overkill.
I know. I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan either, but I like the character, and I think that another reboot, and maybe it's not going to be like a full-on origin story.
God, I hope not.
I really hope not. I think it'd be a bad idea if they did another origin story.
I just would like to see like a different, because every single time, every reboot is still him being the young, plucky, wisecracking
making the suit, learning how the powers work. It's like playing a video game and just doing the first level over and over and over again. It's like all right, let's move on. I want to see level 2 at this point. Let's move on to level 2 or even level 1-2.
Something.
Yeah.
Something.
So overall, I'm pretty excited about Civil War though. I really liked the comic book event. I read the whole thing when it was happening and I was a big fan. I'm really interested to see how they're going to make that into a movie. I think it's going to be a much smaller scale than what happened in the comic books, but still kind of excited that because it's a Captain America movie, but it looks like basically everybody's in it.
Yeah.
So I think that there's going to be some big things that happen in that movie. Maybe some people dying. I don't know. There might be some deaths in it. Either way, very
deaths of superheroes that they just introduced.
I don't think they're going to do that because I know Black Panther is going to be introduced in this one, and
that'd be great if they killed Spider-Man.
That'd be ballsy. I mean, it would definitely be ballsy.
It'd be great if it was like it was only that scene that's in the trailer. Like as soon as he says, "Hey guys," someone just comes up and
shoots him in the face.
There's someone behind him that just kills him.
That would be, oh my god, I can't even imagine the outcry, the rage.
That would amazing. I love it.
Oh man. So that's cool. I'm excited for that. A Hologram for the King. This is the new Tom Hanks one that I mentioned that's going to be having its world premiere at Tribeca this year. Not into this one. This was a terrible trailer, and the movie does not look great either. The trailer has this really bad voiceover, like the older style trailer voice, but it's like not your typical trailer voice. It was like the kind of trailer voices that you hear on straight to video movies in the 90s. Like I imagine a movie like The Truth About Cats and Dogs having like just a silly plucky voiceover guy that has like a higher pitched voice than the normal like deep baritone voices that you hear.
Yeah.
So it just not into this one. I like Tom Hanks, but this is like kind of him going back to his rom-com thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, not into that. The only other one I'll mention is Adam Green's Aladdin, which we just took a look at before recording. This thing looks ridiculous and insane, and I don't know what to think about it. Adam Green is he did Frozen, not the Disney one, but the other one, and Hatchet, and it looks like kind of weird. Definitely a weird take on Aladdin.
A little bit.
Did you understand what I was saying when it reminded me of the Mighty Boosh?
A little bit, yes. Like it's paper mache everything.
Yeah.
Everything, like all the sets are cardboard, paper mache, just DIY to the max. It's like instead of what was that called when people were like redoing trailers, and they would do like the handmade stuff.
I forget what
they called it, but it's like that for an entire movie. It's
like one of the Be Kind Rewind
movies,
but an entire actual movie of that.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. A whole movie of it, not sure if I could do an entire movie of that.
Yeah, it definitely looks interesting though. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if I could handle that for like over 60 minutes. You know what I mean? You got to cut that off at like 50. And I don't even know if I can handle 50.
I don't know. I mean, I'll try it. I'll watch it and at least attempt to sit through it and see what happens. But I don't know. All right, let's talk about our review this week. We're discussing Possession. This is from 1981, directed by Andrzej Zulawski. I have a synopsis here. A woman starts exhibiting increasingly disturbing behavior after asking her husband for a divorce. Suspicions of infidelity soon give way to something much more sinister. This is available now on Mubi. They have the newly restored version on there. Great job with the restoration. Looks freaking fantastic. Freaking fantastic. Also, it should be mentioned that Andrzej Zulawski just passed away last month. I think he passed away. It was like February 18th or 19th.
Yeah, 1 month back.
I'm pretty sure it was 17th. Sorry, February 17th. He passed away. So, kind of with nothing coming out. I mean, I will mention 10 Cloverfield Lane. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But Kevin didn't see that, so
we said fuck it. Well,
let's do a retro review.
Essentially, I said fuck it.
Yeah.
Either that or what was the other one? Rivers of Grass.
Yeah, which is also an older movie.
Yeah, but
Kelly Reichardt.
I think Possession has a little bit more to talk about.
It does. All right, so this stars Sam Neill and Isabelle Adjani. Oh man, I guess I'll start it off. I'll dive into this.
Now, a quick question before you get into it: have you seen a Zulawski before?
I don't think so. I was looking through his filmography, and I do not think that I've ever seen any of his other movies.
Yeah.
I think that this was my introduction.
That's quite an introduction.
Yeah, I'm looking at his stuff here, and I don't think I saw any of his other stuff. I mean, I'm certainly familiar with the director, but yeah, I think this is the first one that I've seen. No, I didn't see The Devil, I don't think. So this movie's it's batshit. It is insane. This movie is absolutely insane. From the beginning, right off the bat, I was like, what is going on here? I mean, it was like, it starts off really disjointed. Like, I had no idea what was happening. Like, he's getting money from these guys, and then like they're like naked in bed talking, and then it's just like it's jumping around all over the place, and I'm like, whoa, what is going on here? And then it slows down a little bit, and then it just ramps up, and it stays at 11 the entire movie. It was like Zulawski was telling Sam Neill and Isabelle Adjani he was just like, overact the shit out of everything you do all the time.
Gotta
scream at the top of your lungs, throw things, flail. We want a lot of flailing. It seemed like a lot of people love to rub the walls. I don't know if you've noticed that, but like everyone's rubbing the walls in this movie, like rolling around on the wall and just constantly rubbing the walls.
Well, back in the day, walls had a lot of texture.
Yeah, I guess they did. I'll say that I thought the movie was borderline amazing, and I think I loved it. But I'm not sure because it was just so insane that I don't know. It was amazing cinematography wise.
Oh my god!
Pretty much blew my mind all the time. Right when there would be like one scene where I was like, oh, that was the best shot in the movie. There'd be another one that comes up, and I'm like, oh man, that was the best shot. Oh, look how he so precisely frames everything, especially like in the stairwells and stuff. There's a lot of stairwell scenes in this.
Yeah. Plus the way he just choreographs everything, because the camera's like almost always moving.
Yeah, it's very kinetic camera movements. It always seems to be like sweeping through whatever house they're in.
Well, where he's meeting with those 4 or 5 guys in that huge empty room, and they're just discussing like he just finished a job.
Yeah, and it's just spinning. It's just going around the room.
Yeah, it's just going around the perimeter of the room, and it's
awesome.
Like, oh, that's fantastic. I love it. But I was wondering how you would respond to this, because I've seen Zulawski's movies before. I've seen 2 other ones, and I know that his films kind of have this, like, they're almost always, everyone's in hysterics, really. Everyone's just over the top, insane. Which I think complements the cinematography, because I think it would be odd if the cinematography, because like you said, as much as the camera's moving and it's pretty kinetic and it's like perpetual motion the entire time, I think it would be weird to have like to pair that with subdued performances.
Yeah.
Which would be really odd. And especially given what happens in this movie, it would be also odd. But yeah, it is. And they sustain that for 2 hours.
Oh man, it is. Just go.
It's so aggressive.
Nonstop. It's aggressive, but it feels very it's very deliberately aggressive. Like when we say that the camera movements are kinetic and everything is just at 11 and just so over the top, it's very organized and it's very organized chaos.
Yeah,
like
and this isn't like quick cuts or anything like
right,
that.
exactly.
These are long shots that are just. It's more of like the camera's always gliding.
Yeah, and it's not like lots of shaky cam or anything like that. Everything is very precise, and even though it's just complete, I mean, a lot of it reminded me of that game show that used to be on Nickelodeon where you would go in and just destroy a room. I can't remember the name of that show. It's called like not Room Raiders because that was the MTV one. Whatever the name of that show was, where you'd go in and just destroy as much as you can within a time limit. Because that's what they did. They just destroy everything. And I thought there was a really interesting take on a crumbling marriage.
Yeah,
I mean, like the most extreme version of a movie that involves a crumbling marriage.
It's insane. He gets into so many different things with this movie. Like I don't know about you, but I couldn't even come close to picking up on everything with one viewing. It's just like sweet Jesus.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in this movie, especially once you get into like when you discover her other house, the other place that she lives, where she's keeping those creatures.
Well, that's the other thing. Because even before that happened, I'm like, man, this is
weird.
pretty.
This is weird
pretty
shit going on.
Yeah,
here.
this is pretty insane. And then you have that initial, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening?
When the detective first goes into the bathroom and you see, like, you can't even really see it at that point.
No, but
like
it's terrible.
It's like a moving blob of like blood and guts. And that's the other thing, like the amount of blood used in this movie, it's probably actually more realistic than in other movies, but it was just so funny because like every time they would get, I mean, they're always cutting themselves or cutting each other or getting hit and getting cut, but like he'll get bumped on the nose and his entire shirt is covered in blood.
Oh yeah, like, when he has that fight with Heinrich.
I mean, it's just like there's so much blood. Like it's definitely an interesting movie.
Which I gotta say, I mean, the special effects with that are
that was one thing I definitely wanted to touch on is that the effects work for a movie coming out in 1981. I mean, this is like The Thing level of effects work. It reminded me that the creatures reminded me of The Thing, but also the smaller things like when he cuts himself with the
I mean, that looked like he was just cutting himself with a knife.
Yeah, like it just straight up looked like he was actually cutting himself with that knife, and that looked really good. And when she cuts her neck too, that looked quite real. I loved the character of Heinrich. I think was my favorite.
I think I was kind of on the fence with him, but when he shows up at Sam Neill's house and he's doing where he's kind of like in a trance or whatever, where he's kind of he's just like spinning around out.
Yeah, and he was rubbing the walls.
Yeah, I was just like, this is amazing. I'm not 100% sure what's happening in this movie. I just know that I want it to continue. I don't know what it is, and it doesn't have to make sense. At no point, essentially, there came a point in this movie where I was just, kind of throw my hands up, and it's like, you guys can do whatever you want. I'm in.
Along for the ride.
Let's just do this. Like your camera work, the effects, just do it. All right, I'm in. I'm all in with everything you guys are doing. Love it.
I love the initial scene when. So let's just set for people who aren't super familiar with the plot here, because we're jumping all over the place like the damn movie. So like basically, Sam Neill comes back from, I think he was in the North Pole. Is that where he was doing something with polar bears?
Was he? I thought he was like a spy.
Oh, maybe that's what he was. But they mentioned something about him being at the North Pole. Maybe that was his cover or something.
Yeah.
But either way, he comes back from being away for a while, right? And there's distance between him and his wife, and then he finds out that his wife was cheating on him with this Heinrich guy, and he goes to confront him in one of the most amazing karate scenes I've ever seen in my life. He just beats the shit out of Sam Neill in the most ridiculous way.
Sam Neill does get his ass whooped.
It was really funny because when she basically says that she's going to leave him, he loses his fucking mind.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes insane. And the way that he acts, he's just constantly, he's hysterical.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's hysterical in this movie.
And the woman, what's her name? Margaret? Is that her name? The lady with
the cast.
Yeah.
Margie, yeah.
The lady with the cast on her leg. In one scene, Sam Neill's like, "I loathe you," and in the next scene, it looks like he's gonna have sex with her. It's just a weird ass movie. He's
confused, man.
So basically, he hires a detective to kind of spy on his wife because he thinks something's up. Because he confronts Heinrich, and Heinrich's like, "I haven't seen her for a while. I don't know what she's doing, but she's still lying. She's not coming home. She's not at Heinrich's. Where is she?" So he hires this detective to follow her, and it turns out she has this second apartment, and there's some really nefarious things going on. Otherworldly things are happening in this apartment.
Oh, yeah.
So it has a supernatural element to it as well. Of course, you can interpret that however you want.
Yeah, because then they start getting into God territory.
Yeah, there's a religious aspect of it.
He just keeps piling stuff on. As soon as you think that, like, oh, okay, it's marriage is coming apart. All right, he's trying to possess her. He's losing his mind. And then, the further it goes, it just keeps layered. And every time you think, like, okay, I kind of got beat on this. I know what's going on. And then the next scene is just like, nope, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, this
is something else entirely now.
It's very Lynchian. It derails really quickly, and it never gets. Once it loses you, you'll never get it back.
Yeah, that's what
even when you think you have it solved, he throws a curveball at you, and you're just like, wait a minute, what? Because like the monster things. First of all, there's more than one of them, and like at one point, Sam Neill doesn't see them. Like, they're not there. So you think like, oh, well, they don't exist. It's all just like a manifestation of, her, how she's feeling or whatever. But then he does see him, and you're just like, I don't know. It's tricky. It's a tricky movie for sure.
Yeah, because there's so many things there's so many different paths that you can go down. You have the whole marriage thing, that crumbling apart. You have where they start talking about God towards the end. The creatures, her giving birth or miscarrying in the subway.
Again, I think that scene was unbelievable. It was so long. It was never ending. And then all of a sudden, she's flailing around in the subway for, I don't know, 5 minutes, it seems.
Oh, it just
goes on forever. It's unbelievable. And then she just collapses, and then just white and like red liquid starts coming out of her ears, out of her mouth. It just comes out of everywhere. And then like you see this like green shit emanating from underneath of her, and you're just like, what is going on here?
But it looks amazing. I don't know, how did they do that?
They had to have run like tubes up through her back
but it just looks so good.
It looked really good.
So disturbing.
Yeah, it was definitely creepy. And then, so she's losing it. She's having these crazy mood swings. I love how she would just randomly show up at home and just completely trash his house.
or the time she comes back and she's just like making sausage.
Yeah.
And make sausage. You just storm into a house. You've been going for like weeks, and you're like straight to sausage. Gotta make sausage.
That was that was definitely a weird scene. That was the scene involving the electric knife that we mentioned earlier. That was really again, that was a really weird.
Yeah, because when she's like discussing that flashback sequence of giving birth or miscarrying or whatever in the subway, and she brings up the whole sister faith and sister chance thing. Yeah. Then you have, that's a path you can go down and start trying to decipher that. Which good luck deciphering all of these things.
Yeah, because sometimes they essentially talk in poems. They talk in a very lyrical way. Sometimes, like Heinrich does that too.
Yeah.
And I love the scene when she's just in the church. She just goes into a church and does this like screaming with her mouth closed thing for like 30 seconds at the big statue of Jesus on the cross, and then she just leaves. She just goes in, does the closed mouth scream and then leaves.
Yeah, you know, you can interpret possession in so many different ways.
Yeah, you can. You definitely can.
Pretty much almost every way possible.
And then
I
at
think
some
it's
point,
what Zulawski was thinking. He's like, I'm gonna make every single type of possession movie that could exist.
yeah, yep. Any version of the term,
It's
the
just
word, any
put it
definition you
all
can come
in.
up with.
All into one,
All the uses of the word possession are covered here.
pretty much.
And at one point, Sam Neill seems like he's straightened himself out. Like he's hanging out because they have a kid too. That's another thing to mention. They have a kid named Bob.
The name Bob is just it's too funny for a name.
And at one point, it seems like he's straightened himself out. Like he's acting normal. He's not losing his mind every 10 seconds and like acting really crazy and weird. But then at some point, he just cracks again, and he decides that he's going to kill Heinrich in a very sort of complex, almost ingenious method. And then goes and talks to his mom and says that he's dead. And then we were dealing with doppelgangers in this too.
It's just, God, I love it. The funny thing is, because I like Zulawski's movies so much that within pretty much like a minute into Possession, I was like, I love it. I love this fucking movie. Can't wait. And
Well,
it just kept
also,
surprising the shit out of me.
the other thing that you had was this kind of political slant too, because their house overlooks the Berlin Wall.
Yeah,
And
and
I
you
think
keep getting little shots of the soldiers
yeah.
across the walls spying on them.
So I think that there was like a political slant to it as well.
Yeah, like I mean, you have that path too that you can go down. You can go every which way with this sucker.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. I'm not gonna lie, I did have to mute it during that subway scene. I was getting really, really annoyed with the just. I mean, she's just screaming at the top of her lungs.
She sure is. And at one point, it almost when she like right at the end of that, where she's like her back's up against the wall, and she's throwing her head. It looks like she just railed the back of her head on that wall because she like immediately grabs it afterwards. Because I kept waiting. I'm like, she's gonna like actually injure herself.
She probably did. I'm sure she did.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, her performance is. You want to talk about range? She's all over the place in this movie.
Yeah, especially because she plays two characters, and the other character that she plays is normal for the most part.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the version Sam Neill wants, which is another path you can go down. They're both trying to, create the perfect versions of their spouses, the one that they want. Shit, moral story is you just got fucking move on. You know what I mean? When
your relationship crumbles to the point of theirs, yeah, it's time to draw up the divorce papers because that's just not going to work.
You gotta let go. Some things you just don't want to find out. All right.
Yeah, especially when murdering people. When you start murdering people.
What did you think of the choreography of all the explosions toward the end there?
That was awesome. That scene was awesome.
That was amazing.
That whole sequence, that whole like chase sequence. There were times where I just audibly said, "Holy shit!" because it was crazy. He like jumps out of the car, and then he is in that crazy motorcycle accident that looked. I mean, it was real. I mean, obviously they got a stunt person to do that. And then just how all the cars exploded in a chain. It's just like, holy crap.
It's just
that was nuts.
Just amazing. Oh my God.
I'm trying to remember. There was one scene. There was one random shot that I just loved. It was a scene where it was going like they were in, I think, the kitchen of one of the apartments, and the camera began like all the way at the end of a hallway, and it just slowly tracked in. And it looked so good. I love it.
Yeah, I love how he does that, because there's a number of times where he just kind of he'll there would be two people discussing, and he's kind of see him framed in a hallway or like through the door or something, and he'll just track out and just like completely leave them and go into another room.
There was also a scene where I think it was in the detective's office where that building there were like 50,000 doors everywhere. And it just looked like such a complex and intricate floor plan. Because there was like all these tiny rooms everywhere, and he was just kind of wandering through, and there was just like the camera, it was following him, but it was going in different rooms than him.
Mm-hmm.
But because there were so many doors, you could still see where he was.
He's just all over the place.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. Pretty much all the staircase stuff. Like I said, that there's a lot of scenes that take place in stairwells, and all of how all of those shots are framed.
I want to say that I think it's a bit easier to just say like the shots that I didn't like, which are none. So
I'm trying to.
I love like everything. Everything was my favorite from the minute that it started.
I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to think of like anything that I didn't like as far as the cinematography, and I can't really think of any kind of criticisms on that.
Yes,
I also liked at one point Heinrich sends him a film reel, and he watches that, and then the movie just cuts to that footage, and she's constantly, and it catches you off guard, because you start off with Sam Neill watching the footage, but then it goes to the footage itself, and it kind of makes you forget that you're watching footage that he's watching.
And with that first time that she makes eye contact with you, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, this is unsettling.
Yeah. She's a ballet instructor, and so it's basically him shooting one of her ballet lessons, and she's doing something horrible to one of these girls, and she just quickly looks at the camera, and you're just like, whoa. Like, it really catches you off guard, and then she continues to do it throughout the whole thing. And
the duration of eye contact keeps getting longer and longer.
Yeah, and it's
more
really
uncomfortable.
It's really jarring at first, and it is pretty intensely creepy.
Yeah.
But I really liked that too. I thought that was awesome.
I'm gonna say, like, as soon as that was done, this might be one of my favorite movies of all time.
Wow.
I honestly, I love every single thing about it.
Yeah, it's a must watch for sure. If you're into surrealist, crazy imagery, and if you're okay with things not making a whole lot of sense to you.
Yeah, I think they only make sense to Zulawski.
It definitely, I think that the reference or the comparisons to Lynch are there, but to me, it felt more like, it almost felt like a Cronenberg to me.
It's got a little, yeah.
Because there's this kind of almost body horror aspect of it that's going on as well. So I think that there's definitely some like Cronenberg vibes to it, and maybe even some like Argento in there too. Because it almost feels like one of these like Don't Look Now or Don't Look Now.
Well, that's what's his name.
Nicholas Roeg. I know. I'm not saying that that's Argento. I'm
okay,
saying
okay.
It's just got that. It's got that kind of almost Italian horror vibe.
I gotcha. You turned right, and I kept going straight.
No, I know. No, you were correct in pointing it out. Cause,
I see what you're saying. Oh, boy.
But yeah, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out.
You have to.
Again, it's on Mubi. So, and with Mubi, can you just rent that one movie, or do you have to have a subscription?
I think you have to have a subscription now.
Oh, okay.
I think because they used to do that a la carte thing way back. Like when Mubi first came out.
But now you have to have like a monthly. You can probably get it. You can probably rent it on like VOD or something.
Probably somewhere, I would imagine.
Let me see if it's on Blu-ray.
I know there's a Mondo Vision. You can get. He did a bunch of his movies.
Yeah, it looks like there is a special edition, uncut version, digipack that's put out by Mondo Vision. I don't know if that is the remaster one or anything.
They got. Well, now they have. Looks like they got a couple of different possessions.
Yeah, here's one on Blu-ray. It's Region 2, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. They have another one of his movies coming out too soon.
I imagine that this is gonna get. This is gonna have to get some sort of release.
Some
at some
point
point.
in time.
Yeah, I
What
wouldn't
the
be
hell's
surprised.
going on, people?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see this come out. Like if I could see Arrow putting it out, or I don't know if Scream Factory would. Probably not. I could see Arrow or even Criterion putting it out.
Criterion doesn't have the balls to put this out.
I don't know. I think Criterion would do it.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think they have it in them. Sorry, Criterion.
You don't got the balls, Criterion.
That's right.
You don't got the balls to do it. All right, let's go ahead and give this a score. Kevin, what are you gonna give Possession?
10,000.
10,000 out of 10.
10,000 out of 10.
So I take it that's a full on 10 out of 10 for you.
That is
I'm gonna give it
immediate, no questions. I didn't have to ponder nothing. It's just as soon as it was over, it's like 10. Fucking 10.
You pulled a Ryan, and as soon as the credits started, you just threw your hands up in the air and.
Well, I was actually sitting. I had my laptop in my lap, and I just flipped it over like a table and stood up, and I was like 10. Then I went outside, smoked a cigarette, and I just fucking fist pumped the whole way there, and then I danced while I was smoking.
Did this just premiere on Mubi this weekend?
Yeah, I think the first day was. If people don't know how Mubi works, is that every day they put a new film on.
Yeah.
And then, it's like a month worth of films. So, the one that's been on there for 30 days leaves and then a new one's put on. I think this was put on, I think it was yesterday was its first day. So you probably have about 29 days left to watch it, or 30.
Cool. Yeah, so, because I noticed that a lot of people in my Letterboxd friends list or whatever watched it this week. So I thought that was interesting.
Which also, Zulawski has, with him passing away, finally his newest film got picked up for U.S. distribution, Cosmos.
Yeah, I saw that.
Finally get to see that.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm gonna give this a let's see. I'll give it a 9. We'll go ahead and say a 9 out of 10 on this one. Yeah. If they cut that subway scene down by like 10 seconds,
no, you can't.
Probably would have been terrible.
Can't do it.
No, I'm glad they didn't do that. I like it the way it is.
This isn't a movie for pussies.
The Revenant.
Mm-hmm.
The Revenant 2. All right, let's talk about someone we're watching. I don't have a whole lot to talk about. So I did watch Johns of 12th Street. I said I would last week, and I fucking did it.
Oh, man. You remember the last time I asked you to watch some movies? You watched one.
Yep. Well, the problem was there were several issues with your challenge list. One of which was that I got rid of my Hulu account, so like 90% of them were unavailable to me at that point. But
which is great because I have a Hulu account and could have easily have given it to you.
That's true. I mean, I can still try to get through them.
It's fine. It's fine.
I did plan on watching a lot more like classics this year, so I plan on getting to more on that list. Anyway, Johns of 12th Street. If you did not tune in last week, this is Kevin watched this last week. This is a documentary about the restaurant, the Italian restaurant. I don't know if it's famous or not. I guess it is. I mean, it's famous enough that they made a documentary about it.
Yeah.
Famous Italian restaurant, John's, in the East Village. It's I don't really have anything to add other than what you said last week and in your review. It's just kind of a slice of life documentary about this restaurant. The film starts before the restaurant opens, and it ends after it closes, and it just kind of goes through a day in the life of this restaurant, and it's pretty fascinating, I must say, especially because I've been there many times and I've seen these people that work here. Like,
I was gonna say, like,
yeah, it's all the same people. They're still there.
There's people still working there?
Yeah, a lot of them are. I mean, I didn't recognize all of them, obviously, but a lot of them, yeah, they're still there. And the one of the most striking things about that restaurant when you first walk in, the first time I was there, was that giant candle thing that they have.
Mm-hmm.
You see it. It's like in the dining room area of the restaurant in the back. And that was like one of the most striking things about that. It's like that's kind of like their centerpiece is this giant mountainous pile of candles that they have. But yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Some of the stuff, some of the conversations with the patrons got a little annoying to me. Like that one guy, I think he was drunk, but
The Madonna story?
yeah.
Yeah, that was the same one. That's why I said, like, it's funny how it takes on that where you kind of get sucked into conversations.
Yeah.
Whether you want to have them or not.
And you just want to get out of it.
Yeah, that was the one that I was like, okay, yeah, come on, can we stop talking to this guy?
And because it leaves him, and then it comes back to him. And I'm just like, oh no, he's back.
That's why I said it kind of feels like your first day of work. Like if you were to work at jobs, because, kind of get sucked into convos with people like that. And you can't just be like, oh, fuck you, and walk away. Kind of have to sit there and be like, uh-huh, oh yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, but it was really fun to watch it and then go there afterwards. Like that's.
So you did go to John's after you.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Was it difficult to sit through the entire film knowing that you're going to John's?
Oh my God, you have no idea. Because because we went after we were done recording last week, we went out grocery shopping, and I didn't need anything by that point. So I was like starving. So we're at we went to the St. Mark's Market, which is the one that was in that episode of Broad City. It's a great little grocery store.
Yeah.
On St. Mark's, and the food smelled so good, and I was just so hungry. But we had to take the groceries home, put them away, and then watch the movie. And the whole time I'm watching the movie, I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying. And then finally we were able to go there. So yeah, it was very satisfying.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of did the same when we watched it at home. As soon as we were done, it was about time to cook dinner. And it was like, we're making Italian. I can't have anything else right now. I need Italian food immediately.
No brain. Yeah. One thing that I'll mention is I don't like their garlic bread at John's. They showed a lot of the garlic bread being made in the movie and stuff. And I've liked almost all the meals I've had there, but I do not like their garlic bread. It's not very good. So point that out. You're going to point that one out.
Uh-oh.
Don't get excited about the garlic bread there. It's not great. But yeah, I recommend this. I like that it's pretty short. It's just over an hour long, so easy recommend for sure. John's of 12th Street. It's on Fandor, so you can check it out on there.
Get that Fandor. Can I talk about Klown Forever?
Sure.
Or should I hold off?
I saw it too, so I can.
I saw it. I saw Klown Forever. I guess the sequel to Clown. Is that how you pronounce it? Did they pronounce it a different way? It's Clown, right?
Yeah, I mean you can just say Clown. Yeah, I mean that's.
Cloven. Oh man, this was tough to sit through. This was not funny at all.
Wow, yeah. This was a huge disappointment.
What the hell happened, man? Oh, jeez. Like, this is one of those things. There's nothing worse than sitting down to watch a comedy, and it's just, like, it's not funny whatsoever. Because after a certain point, I'm just sitting there. I'm just so pissed off. I'm fuming almost. Where it's just like, make me fucking laugh, would you? Do it. But then and not only is it not funny, but it's like some of the comedy that I haven't seen in so long, where he's like doing stereotypes about Native Americans and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like he throws a dream catcher on the floor, and what's gonna happen. And of course he wakes up and it's caught with his penis inside of it. It's like, so in the middle of the night you picked it up off the floor and decided to sleep with it, and then it got tangled up and I don't understand. Like, it's just, and of course she comes in and she's like, and he's like, oh, that's not what I think. It's just, it was so terrible. It was so unbelievably terrible.
First of all, I liked the initial premise when they're like going to America. I was like, oh, this is because they figured they kind of reveal that early on. They're like, oh, Casper is going to move to America. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I like the idea of these two characters going to America and experiencing American culture. And I mean, it opens the door for so many antics.
Well, and it inherently becomes a little bit funnier too because Frank's English is just it's kind of funny to hear him speak in English. So yeah, and I was kind of excited too, but like they don't
do anything with it.
No.
It was such a bummer because the thing that I liked so much about the first Clown is that it's sort of like a road trip movie where they're going to these different areas and getting into these shenanigans. And I thought that that's what was going to happen in this one, but they were going to America. And also the thing that really made the first one work for me was Bo. Like the fact that they're these two people who should not be taking care of a child are attempting to take care of this kid. Yeah. Like that dynamic added a lot to that movie, I think. And they didn't have it in this one, although Bo was in it, which I appreciated, and he looks so much older now. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
But the only thing that made me consistently laugh was every time Casper addressed Battle Cat, and the fact that guy's name was Battle Cat.
That's the only thing that made me chuckle as well. But man, like not just, and then the whole of like they wrote that friendship book. And that's what it's all about. He's like, oh, I gotta get my friend back. And it's like, dude, you should not be friend. Like, he is a terrible person. You're just like, he just completely abandons his family and loses them. And he's like, yeah, I got my friend back.
Yeah,
it's your friend doesn't give a shit about you at all.
And that's
lost
the thing.
Everything.
That's the other kind of disappointing thing about this movie is that I feel like they take the characters too far down the path of where you hate them. Like at one point in this, you just hate these characters because in the first Clown and in the TV show, they weren't it was like Curb Your Enthusiasm. I mean, it was basically, they designed it after Curb Your Enthusiasm, where you don't really like Larry David, but he's still funny, and he's still kind of charming.
Yeah.
And he has redeemable qualities to him, but in this sequel, they made it so that both Frank and Casper are almost irredeemable at this point because they both do things in this movie that you're just like, nope, sorry. There's no coming back from that. Yeah. Especially what Frank does, which was always kind of, that was another huge disappointment for me in this movie because in the show and in the first movie, Frank was always kind of he was like the level-headed one. He was the one that was trying to avoid those types of situations, and he would always kind of get roped in because of Casper and how wild he was, but he would never, like, he clearly cared about his wife and he clearly wanted to be faithful to his wife, but you know, it always ended up, he would end up getting stuck in these situations where it looked like he was not being faithful or whatever. But in this one, it's just like all that gets thrown out the window.
Yeah, he's like, just like, fuck her.
Yeah, and
it's the audacity to bring her back at the end for the Christmas. It's like, get the fuck out of here.
It was just extremely disappointing that to see where they went with these characters in this story. I was really bummed out by this movie.
It was terrible. I
also liked the cameo from Isla Fisher. I thought that was funny how she was Casper's neighbor, and they just brought her in for some reason. But yeah, like, and they leave America so quickly too that there's two things that they do in America, and one is like the pool party scene, which is it's a big thing.
Yeah, but then the whole point of that is the whole comedy of he gets scalped.
Yeah,
which is number one is this terrible fucking joke. Number two, you really think she just shaved the top of your head, a little square? What the? I mean,
and they never do address that either. Like,
yeah.
Who did it, if it was the housekeeper. But also I did like the fact that for the rest of the movie he was scalped. Like he didn't have the sense to just
shave the rest of it.
Shave the rest of it.
Well, he always wears a hat anyway, so what's the point?
That's true. So there was that, and then there was this one other scene where they ended up going into like South Central, and it gets I don't know, it gets into kind of, I would say almost racist territory.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just like lazy stereotype jokes.
Well, I mean, it's always been a vulgar kind of lowbrow show, but yeah,
I think first one, what you said, that, you know, they they take these characters too far that there's no redeeming qualities. Like
Yeah,
there's
I
no
mean,
likable aspect to either of them.
and a lot of times, like in the first one, it was like they ended up in these bad situations, even though they were trying to do something like good and fun.
Yeah, it was just
Like
always
it
like a
was
comedy of errors.
right, exactly. The first one was just a comedy of errors, and that's how the show was too. Again, the show's basically Curb Your Enthusiasm, and in this one, it's like they were the ones that were just fucking everything up on purpose, almost. I mean, yeah, it's so Clown Forever is definitely not recommended for me either.
No, it's god awful.
And I was really excited for it too.
I didn't even know it was the thing, so I was like, "Oh, this is cool, comedy. Here we go." No comedy.
Yeah, unfortunately. That's not out yet. It'll be out later this year, though. I saw 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Oh shit!
10 Cloverfield Lane.
All right.
Directed by Dan Trachtenberg. So I was a big fan of this one. It worked.
Okay. I was gonna say a lot of seeing good things.
Yeah, because it does what it sets out to do very, very well. It is very suspenseful. You never know. You don't know where this movie's gonna go. I mean, I went into this completely cold. I saw the one trailer, and one of the smart things they did with this movie is they kept the marketing to a minimum. Like to my knowledge, there's one trailer, and then they came out with like a TV spot that was pretty much the same as the regular trailer. All the footage you see from that trailer basically happens within the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, yeah. So, like, after that 10-minute mark, you realize, even if it's like a subconscious thing, that everything that you know about this film has been established. So, everything from that point on is brand new. And so, it's really interesting. And it's one of the few movies where that happens to me, because I inevitably see trailers for most of the movies that I see. And a lot of times when I'll be sitting and watching the movie, if for whatever reason I'll momentarily get pulled out of the movie, and then I'll think to myself, oh, well, they didn't show that one scene yet. You know what I mean? Like that happens a lot. Like, oh, they didn't show that one scene that was in the trailer yet, so that's coming.
Yeah.
And you start to piece it together. In this movie, everything that happens in that trailer, they get out of the way really quick. So after that, you're just like, where are they going to go with this?
I don't know what to expect anymore.
Because you know that there's something to do with Cloverfield. It's got Cloverfield in the title, so you know that there's something, but you never know what it is. Like, you don't know what the connection is. And I mean, you find out, obviously. And it's awesome. John Goodman is amazing in it. Mary Elizabeth Winstead she's great in everything I've seen her in, I think. So she's great. And John Gallagher Jr., I like him a lot too. So, I mean, those are the three characters. You know that I always praise the containment thriller. Mm-hmm. And this is very much a containment thriller, and it's a very good one. So I highly recommend 10 Cloverfield Lane. Don't read any reviews. Don't read anything about it. Go into it completely cold. That's the best way that you're gonna get the most out of this, if you go into it completely cold. Because there's lots of twists and turns and things, and it goes to some really interesting places. So highly recommend 10 Cloverfield Lane. Looks great too. I mean, it's for being his like feature debut. Dan Trachtenberg did a pretty great job with this.
Yeah,
I think that he has a really promising career ahead of him.
Check that one out there.
Yeah, definitely. We have a review for it up on the site. Blake gave it an 8 out of 10.
All right. I watched Chateau Ackerman's News from Home from 1977. This was one of her films that's included. They have a Eclipse box set of her work. It was in there, so I ended up watching this on Hulu Plus. And it is amazing. It's fairly simple. It is essentially, this is when she moved to New York City, busting out on her own. She's in New York City, and during that time, she's getting letters from her mother, just kind of giving her updates of what's going on with members of the family and what's going on with her job and stuff, and asking questions about how she's getting along and all those things. So what she ends up deciding to do is she takes like static frame shots of New York City from this time period, just shooting the streets, all that type of stuff. but occasionally the movement, there's movement in the camera where she'll, kind of pan across, or she's either on the subway or maybe she's in a cab. So you have the camera moving in that fashion. And all it is just the letters being read while she's kind of doing it's almost like she's doing a city symphony of New York City as a new resident, but instead of the city symphony kind of framing or informing the viewer of like the actual city or the culture or anything like that, she's using it in a way to kind of inform the viewer of like her emotional state during that time. So like when it starts off, it's just there's really nothing going on in the city. It's just like empty streets and alleyways and stuff. And then it kind of picks up. And then, like I said, the camera starts moving a little bit, and she seems to interact more with the city and become a part of it. And then there's times where it's kind of appropriated to scale too, where there's like long pauses where there's no dialogue. It's just shots of the city. I guess to kind of incorporate the spaces in between her receiving letters from her mother. And it's one of those things that is so just unbelievably simple, but yet it works so well. And it's just I haven't really ever seen anything like this before, but I definitely recommend it. I'm actually worried because this was I actually got to see 2 10 out of 10s this week. Pretty damn good week. I only watched 3 movies. One was a 1, and the other 2 were 10s. Nice. So that's a pretty solid week right there.
Nice. That's all I got for this week.
And the only other thing is I feel kind of bad because I saw No Home Movie, her last film, which kind of documented with her mother and everything. And now having seen News from Home, I would like to see. I shouldn't have saw No Home Movie first. Let's just put it that way, because it kind of changes everything now. Where it's like, oh, okay, yeah. I have more information now.
No, okay, I see.
I feel kind of bad about No Home Movie is not great at all. Now I feel like, oh, I might be wrong there.
Gotcha. All right. Anything else on your?
Nope, that's all I got.
I forgot to mention I did see Life is Sweet. I watched that.
Holy shit! You're watching all sorts of movies. So yeah. Timothy Spall?
Yeah. Oh man. Oh man. Those outfits were the best part.
I know.
Yeah, I liked that. I liked that quite a bit, actually. And I don't have anything else to add other than
I love the way he pops out of that caravan when he first gets in it and it tips. And he just kind of hops out.
I love the mom. She was just the best. I loved her laugh.
I know.
Her laugh was just.
She was so fantastic. Absolutely loved her. Like I could just watch her and Jim Broadbent. Just you know what I mean. Just make that. Yeah, just make that a TV show. I'll watch that for like 14 seasons.
Yeah, definitely a feel good movie for the most part. There's some drama in there for sure, but yeah.
Yeah, but he navigates that so well.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, all right, let's talk about some predictions. 10 Cloverfield Lane. Last week you said 70. I said 76. Actual 91.
Damn.
Yeah, this one's a hit.
I was not expecting that.
Well, neither was I, but I didn't know what to expect. Again, because there was just so little. There's so little to go on with that movie. Brothers Grimsby, you said 38. I said 42. Actual 38. Right on the money.
Yes. 2 10s and now this. Shit.
What a week. What a week for Kevin.
Best week of cinema
Kevin's
ever.
Coming up, Kevin.
Damn. Kill him.
Next week, we got the Divergent series Allegiant.
Oh, yeah. They're still doing that. That's right.
Yeah, these still exist. I remember, what's his name? Miles Teller got in some heat because he came out and was like, these movies are bullshit. I wish I never signed a contract to be in all of them. Like, he came out and, like, really criticized the movies. I don't know if he got in trouble for that or what, but...
Yeah, he's still cashing them checks, though, aren't you, Miles? So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but I think he was, like, saying that they're like, hurting his career or something.
Well, you should have been a little bit smarter. A little more business sense. Why are you signing up for that many movies?
Well, he was... When that first one came out, I think that was, like, when he was just first entering the scene.
Yep.
So when you have like one movie under your belt and you're just starting to come up, and then like a big studio comes up to you and says, "Hey, do you want to sign a contract, multi-million-dollar contract for like 4 movies or whatever, like a 4-movie deal?"
Yeah,
You're signing that shit.
well, yeah, and it probably provided him with some security. So
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I'll say, let's see. I don't know if these are generally well received or not, so I'll say like 62 on it.
okay, I'm gonna say 58.
Okay. And the other wide release next week is Midnight Special.
Ooh,
You know, I'm obviously gonna go see it. I mean, it looks okay, but it's not really. The trailer didn't really hook me.
no, and I'm really hoping that's because they're kind of keeping it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't want to get expectations too high, so hopefully they kind of surprise you.
What are you thinking on this one?
I'm thinking like a 84.
Wow, high hopes.
High,
I'm gonna say 78 on this
real
one.
high. Because remember that one scene in Take Shelter was pretty fantastic, where he kind of has that, like all the furniture.
Yes. Yes.
So
Holy shit.
you're getting a whole movie of that. Hopefully, maybe.
Hopefully.
Who knows? So you already kind of know that he can nail that.
Yeah, I mean, we know that there's gonna be some like super powered, because you see that in the trailer. Like there's definitely gonna be some special effects work.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that it's gonna be pretty cool, but who knows? I'll be checking it out for sure. And according to Rotten Tomatoes, it does have a wide release, so we'll see if it's going to be playing in a theater near you.
Oh
Kevin.
boy! Oh boy! Oh my! Hey, York got a art house theater, by the way.
Oh really?
A little independent theater.
Where are they playing anything good, or is it like repertory, or like what
Actually,
are they?
right now they're playing. They just opened, so I'm not. It's still early to see what kind of road they go down. But it's funny because I haven't seen this movie playing anywhere else. It was King George,
Oh, the French one.
the French chef.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what's playing. And then Janet's Little Girl Blue.
Okay, yeah, that's the Janis Joplin doc.
And then we got Lady in the Band.
Yeah, my dad saw that.
So we'll see.
I wonder if he saw it at that theater. I'll have to ask him.
It's early, but it's on. I forget where it's actually located.
It's in the city.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I heard that they're really developing.
Yeah, it's
starting to get good.
Getting stuff. We're getting stuff. It's crazy.
That's fine. I mean,
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it kind of works out.
I leave, and a decade later, it's starting to get good.
Yeah, it's on West Market Street.
Okay, cool. I'll have to ask my dad if that's where he saw Lady in the Van. I don't know if that's where he saw it. He fell asleep. He slept through the whole thing.
And it's funny because I was kind of like trying to read about it, and I think it only seats like 30 people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's like, and I think it's like comfy seats, like just armchairs is what you sit in.
That's cool. There's a couple theaters like that here in the city. That like Nighthawk Cinema is really nice. I mean, but when I saw Victoria the theater was like 20 people in there. It's really small, but like you sit at tables, so it's like a restaurant almost.
Yeah.
But anyway, next week in limited release we have The Bronze. That's the comedy. I'll be checking that one out because I haven't heard good things about it, but I'll still be seeing it because
it's never stopped him before.
It seems like it could be worth a couple laughs.
What's it called? The
Bronze. It's dark comedy about a bitchy girl who got the bronze medal at the Olympics, and it's the girl from Big Bang Theory stars in it.
I gotcha.
And what's his name from Silicon Valley? Thomas Middletech. He's in it too, and he looks pretty funny. So
you got Gary Cole in there.
Yeah, Gary Cole's in there too. Let's see. We got The Bronze, The Program. That's the Lance Armstrong film.
I love this.
They really made Ben Foster look like Lance Armstrong, but I don't know. It looks like they went a little bit overboard with it.
Mm.
Like it looks like he's wearing some prosthetics, and that may be problematic for me.
It's just, I love how when we always get to this point, it's all the movies that are and then a word.
Okay. Well, keeping with that theme, we got The Preppy Connection.
Of course we do.
We I don't remember. This one sounds familiar to me. What is
It
this?
does sound familiar. Fencing?
Uh,
Oh, a student at a private school uses his connections to establish a drug trafficking network there.
oh yeah, yeah, I've heard of this. I don't know. Probably have to see a trailer
I
for
don't
that
think
too.
we've ever seen that where you have privileged kids doing bad things. That's a new thing.
It's like another bling ring.
Oh boy.
And then we have Krisha.
Wait, finally?
Yeah, finally.
The one that won the thing?
Yeah. I'm really excited about this one. I really want to see this.
Yeah, I've been waiting for a while to see this one.
I haven't seen a good like dysfunctional family drama for a while. So I think that this one's gonna be good. Got Take Me to the River.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that one is. Oh, I've got a lot of emails about this.
Yes, did he get any for Krisha?
I did, yeah, I did. Got some emails about Krisha. So we got a space program that's directed by one of the Neistat brothers. Not Casey, but the other one. We also have K-Town Cowboys.
K-Town Cowboys?
K-Town Cowboys.
Cowboys from K-Town?
The Birth of Saki. I believe I saw that.
Yeah, I think he did. 4 years ago.
Yeah. That's really good. That's a really interesting documentary about it. Again, it's kind of a slice of life documentary about this sake company, and it just follows around a season because they work for like 6 months straight. Like they live there.
Yeah, I think I remember you do. Yeah, because you were I remember you being like a little bit surprised by this one.
Yeah, it's the way it's shot it's really gorgeous, and yeah, recommend that, especially if you're into sake, because I'm not even into sake, and I liked it.
Still want to see how it's made.
Yeah, it's very kind of fascinating process. The thing about this movie that makes it a little different with this company is it's one of the few that still make it in the traditional sense, like it's all done by hand with like old tools, like wooden tools, and they crank everything by hand, and it's all like very organic.
Make it the Amish way.
Yeah, they don't use like machines and shit.
You got time for machines.
Next week on VOD, we have The Preppy Connection.
Oh.
So that one's coming out on VOD. You can check that out.
Privileged white kids behaving badly.
If I
oh boy.
If I get any other emails in about additional releases for this weekend, because I'm pretty sure that there's going to be more, I will update the calendar accordingly.
Well, there is one for people that have Mubi, or if you're thinking of getting Mubi after our Possession review, I'm going to go out and check it out this Friday, the 18th. Isa Medina's 8888, and it's 8888 as like a time. I don't know how you would actually. Is it just 8888? But it's 88:88. Like when a clock goes off and it just flashes. Right. Yeah. I know. I'm guessing it's just that's how you say it.
I think so.
That's going to be premiering on Mubi on the 18th. It's going to pop up there, which I've heard really good things about.
Cool. All right. Next week on Blu-ray, we have Game of Thrones, the complete which season? Fifth season of Game of Thrones.
Damn.
So you can get caught up with your Game of Thrones action before the new season starts next month.
Get it.
The Big Short. I don't recommend that.
No, I don't either. It's garbage. It's just a mess.
I don't understand. Mess. I don't understand why that was such a huge movie last year.
I don't either.
We got Carol. Again, same thing. I'm not sure.
It's perfectly fine. It's just not my, it's not my thing.
Yeah. I liked Carol. I did not like The Big Short.
Yeah.
With Carol, I didn't understand.
Carol, I can respect.
Right.
That's a good movie.
Looks great.
It's just one of those things where it's like, hey, you're a really nice person. You're great and everything, but we just don't have anything in common. Like, I don't want to hang out with you. Sorry. Right.
Exactly. Brooklyn, never saw that one. That was another pretty popular one last year. Sisters, I missed that one too. I want to check that one out actually. Love, the Gaspar Noé one. Nah, I'm not gonna recommend that. I think it's
What?
more palatable than his other movies, but it still features a whole lot of unsimulated sex in it. So if you're into that,
Well, that's been on Netflix for a while.
really,
Yeah,
oh,
been
well,
like
you
a
can
couple
check,
weeks on there.
yeah, you can check it out on Netflix if you want to.
Yeah,
then.
if you want to.
Probably wouldn't recommend it. Let's see what else we got here. We got Steve Jobs, the Man in the Machine.
Oh, Jobs.
I mean, yeah. Hopefully
Is that the documentary one?
that's the documentary one. Yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah.
I can't remember who did that. I think Gibney.
That guy got so many things going on for him. People making movies about Steve Jobs left and right.
Yeah, it's a lot of
It's
job
ridiculous.
stuff going on. And Band of Robbers. That's a fairly recent movie that I thought looked okay, but I don't know. Didn't catch up with that one either.
Mm.
Got some first time on Blu-ray releases here. We got some Chuck Norris action, Invasion USA. It's got an amazing cover.
Oh, yeah.
Invasion USA. We got My Boyfriend's Back, the classic horror comedy from 1993.
Nice.
I loved that movie
Now, is
as a
it
kid.
Invasion USA? Is that one of the, what was their name?
Canon?
Yeah, that's a canon one, right?
That is a Canon film.
Nice.
Yep. There was like a couple other ones that Just Visiting from 2001. Silly comedy. Oh, forgot about Alvin and the Chipmunks Road Chip that comes out.
Yeah.
Can't forget that one.
Mm-mm.
That's pretty much it.
Oh my God, Just Visiting. Oh, I know what it is.
Yeah. You gotta see that
Oh my God, I forgot this was a thing.
Yeah, you gotta see that amazing cover, and then you
Holy
remember right away.
Shit.
Jean Reno,
Oh
Christina
my
Applegate.
God. Yep.
They came, they saw, they want to go back.
Oh my God. They're not just from another time, they're from France. Thank God for 2001 and back when France was seen as more mind-blowing than another time in history.
Do we have anything on the Criterion front next week?
We have one Criterion. Classic. John Frankenheimer, 1962, The Manchurian Candidate, coming out on the old Blu-ray.
Got a great cover.
Which I love this movie. Such a great film. Unbelievable. Great performance from Frank Sinatra. And just getting the whole the sinister plot with the paranoia and brainwashing and everything. It's great. I definitely recommend that one.
Yeah, classic Manchurian Candidate. I noticed that Arrow Films is also releasing Rage of Honor on Blu-ray from 1987.
Oh shit.
Classic ninja movie. Okay, I think that is gonna do it for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And if you have a moment, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/FilmPulse, and consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber. We appreciate that very much. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week. Andrzej Zulawski. Zulawski.
Just do that for the next 10 minutes.
Mr. Andrzej Zulawski's 1981 classic, The Possession. Along
Just,
with
it's just Possession.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Why did I write the? I have it right in front of my fucking face. Mr. God damn it.
You gave him plenty of practice for that radio voice, though.